Having a home bar is pretty cool. It's a great place to entertain guests and practice your skills. What's not cool? Having a collection of dusty bottles you don't know how to get rid of. What am I gonna do with you? Stocking your home bar is daunting if you're just getting started. You might be wondering how to pick those first couple of bottles. Fortunately, you only need a few essentials to make a wide array of classic and original cocktails. So why don't we look at some of the basics to get your home bar going? Now, before you start your shopping spree, you should consider a few things. Specifically, the cost of all those bottles and how much space you have. Starting with a clear budget and plan for your home bar will help. Be realistic about how many bottles you can get away with before anyone you might live with will get upset. Expand your inventory slowly and with purpose, rather than spending a fortune all at once. Try making a list of some of your favorite cocktails. By focusing on 1 or 2 new drinks and only adding the ingredients required to make them, you'll be surprised at the number of cocktails you'll be able to make in no time.
Disclaimer.
I cannot stress this enough. If you're not going to use one of these bottles, I don't think you should buy one. If you don't drink martinis, don't waste your money on a bottle of vermouth. If tequila brings up, feelings, don't stock any. I use some spirits faster than others, and some I barely touch. That's entirely because of my own personal preferences, and should not impact what you might or might not want in your bar. When in doubt, start with bottles you already enjoy drinking. Now is a good time to decide whether you want a gin or a vodka. Sure, you could have both, but you can easily substitute one with the other in many classic cocktails. Have you ever tried gin in a Cosmopolitan? Or vodka in a French 75? I rarely reach for vodka at home, but that doesn't mean you won't find a reason to use it. It's an incredibly versatile spirit, and it's easy to find an affordable one you might like. I have Tito's here, which is corn-based, but you should look for something grain-based, like Absolute or Kettle One. For a gin, start with a workhorse London Dry, like Beefeater or Tanqueray. I like Ford's here. It makes a great martini and stands up in a gimlet or Negroni. But if you're not best friends with Juniper, get one that's a little less Juniper heavy, like Hendrick's. If you look for it, there is a gin for everyone. You shouldn't spend much more than $30 on either of these bottles. Because these are unaged spirits, the bottle price tends to reflect the cost of advertising more than what goes into the bottle. The kind of rum and tequila you drank before taking cocktails seriously was miles from the good stuff. Be honest. What you used to drink was either overly spiced or had a worm in it. Get yourself a good tequila and rum. I recommend starting with a Blanco tequila and white rum. White rum is the foundation for loads of refreshing fruit-forward cocktails, like the daiquiri and mojito, and can be very affordable. This clear spirit brings all the vanilla and fruit notes of rum to life without affecting how the drink looks. Making this category perfect for cocktails with tiny umbrellas. Bacardi is the iconic white rum, and a good place to start. But I like my El Dorado 3-year. It's rich, creamy, and fragrant, and at under $20, it makes a delicious daiquiri. Tequila is currently the fastest growing spirits category in the country. It feels like new brands, many of them celebrity owned, are launching every day. A good rule of thumb is to look for bottles that clearly state 100% agave or 100% blue agave. A good bottle of tequila can run between $30 and $50. Something like Mi Genta is closer to $50. But I also like this bottle of Espolón, which is considerably less expensive.
But what if the recipe book here calls for an aged rum or reposado tequila?
Don't rely on the color alone when looking for an aged rum. Look for an actual age statement printed on the label. I like this Appleton 12. It's aged in ex-bourbon casks and is a great sipping rum. Like aged rum, tequila reposado also sees the inside of a barrel. The wood darkens the tequila and gives it a softened sweetness that makes the spirit approachable and easy to enjoy neat, or as an alternative in classic cocktails. Look for Siete Leguas Reposado. It's an excellent example at a reasonable price. But if you must have something celebrity-owned, Terramana is pretty good. Okay. Be careful with this section. There are so many styles of whiskey, each with a distinct flavor profile, that it's easy to get carried away.
Hey, nope, nothing to see here. Nope, don't look over here.
Choosing a single whiskey can be tricky between Scotch, Irish, Japanese, and all the different types of American whiskeys. I recommend starting your collection with 2 bottles. You can always add more later.
Hey, what did I say? Nope, stop looking over here.
1 bottle should be either bourbon or rye. That will serve you well in most classic cocktails, like the old-fashioned or Manhattan. I like my bottle of Buffalo Trace for bourbon. It's a pleasant spirit to sip on, but I usually go between Wild Turkey 101 and Old Overholt for my rye. They're both classic, affordable, and never disappoint. Next, I would get a decent blended Scotch to round out your selection. Cocktails that call for this are less common, but if I'm in the mood for something lighter to sip on, or use in a highball, this is what I want. At around $35, Monkey Shoulder is a good way to get started. If you must, a bottle of brandy rounds out a well-stocked bar, but it's optional. Now you can let yourself get creative. Most of the bottles you will buy here are specifically for cocktails, which makes it crucial you stick to your plan. What cocktails are you making? How much are you willing to spend? Where will you store it all? Make sure you're using what you get. Be careful not to become a bottle hoarder. Are you or someone you love an undiagnosed bottle hoarder?
Having a home bar is pretty cool.
Do you have bottles of mysterious liquids and don't know what they are? Do you have multiple bottles you can't seem to finish, even though there's only an ounce or 2 left? Do you have a collection of Amaro? If you answered yes, then you might suffer from what's known as bottle accumulation through mixology and alcohol neglect. If you too are a victim of Batman, then I'm here to help. Hi, I'm Dr. Barry Bar Beginner. Like you, I'm a clinically diagnosed, undiagnosed bottle hoarder. I was so far gone that I could make classic zombies at home. Something needed to happen, so I developed this program to help others like me kick Batman, and hopefully save someone else from discussing a rum's hogo in public. Side effects may include upset stomach, change in activity or mood, sudden interpretive dancing, speaking in a British accent, perpetual jazz hands, a tendency to narrate your life in the style of a movie trailer, extreme couponing, unstoppable air guitar solos, drowsiness, and disco fever. Beep. I recommend starting simple, with a bottle of Campari, maraschino liqueur, and a triple sec. These are the 3 most common used ingredients in my home bar. You could branch out with some Amaro or Chartreuse if you can find it, but those are less common and can be more expensive. Luxardo is common, and I don't know enough about other maraschino brands to have much of an opinion. But I do think you should spend a couple extra dollars on Cointreau. It's technically a triple sec, so you can use that when the recipe calls for one. And I believe that a classic Negroni isn't a Negroni without Campari. I would also suggest keeping a sweet and dry vermouth on hand. These need to be refrigerated and only last about a month or two after open, but if you're drinking Manhattans and martinis, you will be surprised at how fast you go through them. Keep an eye out for smaller 375 milliliter bottles. They're not a price saver, but are easier to get through and take up much less space. As for bitters, you should have a bottle of Angostura, Peychaud's, and some orange bitters. This will cover most of your needs and could last you the whole year. Feel free to get more if you like experimenting with flavors in your cocktails. Just try not to get carried away. Think of bitters like the figurative spice rack in the cocktail world. Now, picture your actual spice rack in your real-world kitchen. Not very organized, right? Since most cocktails require a mixer or two, stock your bar with tonic, club soda, and ginger beer. These simple mixers make easy highballs, like a Presbyterian or gin and tonic. Also, keep a basic collection of syrups and juices to round out your repertoire. There are companies out there that you can look for, but I prefer to make small batches of simple and rich Demerara syrup at home. It's easy to make, and I use it within a week or two. But this is all just what I recommend. Don't like the taste of gin? Don't carry any. Prefer mezcal in your margaritas over tequila? Fantastic! Lemon and lime juice hurt your teeth? Don't buy citrus for your cocktails. And maybe you see a dentist. A home bar is a lot of fun, so have fun setting it up. And let me know if you have anything you are particularly proud of. I would love to hear about it. Maybe I can find a place for it in my home bar. Ooh, one more take on that. That was pretty good.